What do we have for Cancer? Six of Swords, Aquarius energy at the foundation of the reading, Cancer. Okay, Cancer, so what I'm picking up for all of you is that you have reached this transitionary point in your journey. I feel that there's a level up that is imminent, and the Six of Swords is really telling us that energetically speaking, this move is already underway, even if it hasn't shown up inside your everyday waking life yet. As above, it's already begun. Now it just has to trickle down into your everyday waking life. But because of this, there is an energy that I feel is trying to bait you. And the baiting energy is something that I was picking up the past couple of days as I was leading up to this reading. There's an energy here that I feel has either already tried to do this or is preparing to try and force you to engage with them in some capacity. Now, the whole purpose of this is so you forfeit your own mission. It's very much one of these situations where the enemy tries to get you to enter onto the battlefield with them when really you should be remaining focused on your mission, the task at hand, whatever it is you are in the planning stages of, and allow the divine to take care of this for you. This is biblical. This is something that we've all heard before. Let God take care of your enemies for you. As long as you do this, your victory is guaranteed. In order to rise, you must walk past the battlefield without drawing your sword, right? The battle is not yours to fight. There's no other way for me to put this to you, Cancer. As frustrating and as difficult as this may be for you to try and ignore, it's absolutely crucial that you do so at this time. The whole point is for the enemy to lower your frequency. When they lower your frequency, that goal, that manifestation, whatever it is on your path that you're making your way towards, becomes something that is essentially out of your reach. That manifestation exists on a timeline that you are elevating to. And in order to align with that timeline, your frequency, your vibration has to be just so. But when you engage with these lower vibrational demonic kind of energies, which are basically just blanketed terms to speak about an energy that is trying to keep you from your highest potential here, without fully realizing it, you are lowering yourself to their level. And see, the enemy knows this. They know that they can't touch you, but that doesn't stop them from trying to bait you onto their battlefield. See, where you're at right now, Cancer, every single distraction is a thief of your life clock minutes. You need to guard each and every one of them as if they were gold. Every mission delayed is actually a mission diminished, and you need to start looking at your life as so. And I'm also picking up something here in regards to your inner child, right? These individuals who you are dealing with in regards to this situation here, Cancer, they know you. They know what triggers you, and that's what they're going for, okay? So how do you guard yourself from those triggers? Well, healing. This is where all of your focus needs to be right now, because your healing is actually your spiritual defense system. Think about it. The more you put into your healing, the less likely you are to be triggered by the enemy's tactics against you. You become unshakable, unmovable inside a space where you may have self-sabotaged in the past. I think we can all relate to this in some capacity, but there's a reason why this message is coming through in such a potent way, Cancer. Now, this message wouldn't be coming through if what you were making your way towards wasn't of great importance. What do we have at the sacral, please? 9 of Swords. Wow. Gemini energy at the sacral. So here it is. Here's the attacks. However this may be showing up for you. The 9 of Swords is showing us that it's something mental, okay? It could be stress. It could be something that keeps you up at night. But overall, it's an energy of just feeling so overwhelmed, so sick and tired that you're baited into some sort of retaliatory reaction, okay? So Cancer, whatever it is you need to do at this time to make sure that you do not do this is going to make or break you. And excuse the redundancy here, but again, your self-care routines and all of the things that you do to maintain yourself is where all of your energy needs to be going right now. They want you wrestling with your own shadow, right? This is what this is all about. Getting you tangled up inside your own unhealed traumas. In Cancer, whenever I see an energy like this, it not only tells me that there's something of great importance that you're making your way toward, like we already concluded, but it also tells me that this is going to see you stepping into a new timeline that you have been making your way toward for an extended period of time. This is one of these points of your journey, Cancer, and this level up that you are preparing to engage with that you're always going to remember. There's something monumental about it, and this is why all of this is taking place. There's a culmination. I feel it inside your energy. I feel just something tugging on you. It wants so badly for you to re-engage with your past and everything that you have moved on from, because it knows that all it takes is a minute of you engaging with it, and all of your work will be thrown out the window. You'll have to start all over again. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the 8 of Swords, 5 of Swords, King of Swords, 9 of Wands, 10 of Swords. So all of this Swords energy. Now, the 8 of Swords here is speaking directly about what I just mentioned as I was coming out of this 9 of Swords, okay? This is you reacting and putting yourself in this self-imposed restriction. It's a kind of imprisonment that you're willingly walking yourself into, right? You're walking yourself into a prison by the reaction that they're trying to bait you to have at this time, okay? Yeah, this 5 of Swords energy, this is basically you sacrificing your own integrity, lowering yourself to their level. Yeah, I just heard, see, look at the way Cancer reacted. Nothing about them has changed. They're exactly the way they always were. Okay, that's what this kind of energy is. They know you one way, and they're expecting you to always be that way. Okay, so this new version of you, they don't like it. Okay, and their whole mission at this time is to prove to everybody that you're the same person that you've always been. You're the same person that used to react to their weapons that they formed against you. I just heard crabs in a barrel, okay? And I feel that this is probably what you're dealing with, Cancer. This could be directly connected to family, friends, exes. Take it as it fits. But if we were to really simplify what we've channeled through so far, it would be that people are witnessing your rise. These people may have once supported you, acted like they were cheering you on, because they never expected you to get to a point where you would actually rise beyond what they have actually achieved in their own life, or rise to a point where it makes them feel slighted, called out, or small. I just heard the quality of your rise is much different this time. It's not something that they've witnessed before. Now, this can really speak about people who go through the transformation process in their life, and it's one that is guided by spirit and the divine. People usually attack what they don't understand because there's something inside of them that's so broken that this thing that they don't understand begins to exacerbate. It's like they're starting to see you healing, you improving, you leveling up, and they simply do not have the strength and courage to go down this path themselves. What do we have at the solar plexus? Wow. 4 of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. Aquarius, Gemini, Capricorn. So the 4 of Pentacles here is following what I'm saying because this is representing these individuals who are gripping very tightly to the timeline they're in. And anybody who's elevating outside of that particular timeline, they see as a threat. They see as somebody that they need to put all of their energy and time into destroying or coming for. Now, the whole purpose, I feel, of this reading up until this point is to just make you aware of what's going on around you, Cancer, so you know how to move accordingly and you are not triggered into a reaction. Because as we have come to understand, it's this reaction which will force you to have to start over on this path, or it's going to delay you. Now, the Four of Pentacles sees this individual here sitting facing this mountain, and you can't see it, but on regular depictions, this person is holding on to these coins, clutching these coins. And it can quite often speak about somebody who's holding on, gripping too tightly to something, anything, right? In this case, it's a level up, okay? Now, this mountain is something that I feel you have already conquered. And this person is on the other side of it saying, well, I can't conquer that mountain. So how about if I just go for Cancer as opposed to trying to conquer this mountain myself? So that way Cancer is down here with me and I don't feel bad about myself for not having conquered the mountain that Cancer has already overcome. Okay. Again, Cancer, that's just another way of saying crabs in a barrel, right? See, if the crabs were all working with each other, they would climb on each other's backs and help each other out of the bucket. But they don't. Instead, every time one tries to climb up and out of the bucket, all of the other crabs gang up against them and pull them back down into the bucket, which also really highlights the intelligence level of who you may be dealing with. Now, Cancer, there's something to be said about this kind of level up and how it really puts a spotlight on how broken other people around you just may be. But there's also this emphasis on a very low level of intelligence here. These are people who don't see the world the same way you do. I feel that a lot of you have been working with spirit to encompass a deeper understanding of energy, evolution, transformation, and our incremental role in all of that. That statement alone, these individuals couldn't even begin to compute because they have completely given themselves over to a lower vibrational force that has wiped their need for enlightenment clear from their memory bank. What does that mean? Well, as I'm sure a lot of you know, Cancer, when you're going through this process, you feel as though there's something trying to call you home. You feel something familiar. A lot of what you were discovering about yourself at this time and your connection with spirit, well, it feels like an old friend. It feels like something that you forcibly had to forget. This is what sets you apart from these people, because they have surrendered to an opposing force. Just another way of saying that they have sold out or sold their soul to this third density reality. In other words, they've given up. They fear truth, so they remain a slave to their own matrix. And a part of that agreement is that they are tasked with making sure that nobody else within their communities and families are able to escape. And we know this as giving themselves over to a reprobate mind. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Wow. Unbelievable. I had a feeling he was going to come out. Look who decided to show up to the party, Cancer. He heard us. The devil. Look, there's your people right there, right? Shackled. They've given themselves over to a reprobate mind. And what do we get? The devil right there at the heart chakra. Now, make no mistake that even though their actions towards you in your everyday waking life may not look like this, okay? It may show up differently. Oh, you sure you want to do that, Cancer? Oh, I just care about you and what you're doing in your life. I just don't understand all of these things, okay? There's an air of gaslighting to the way they communicate with you, to their moves. They're going to make it seem like they're only doing this, that, and the other because they have your best interest in mind. But no, it's far from it. The only interest they truly have is that they don't disappoint this devil energy. Cancer, I'm also hearing something here about you being assigned to this particular community. This is something that I quite often talk about, that when you go through this awakening process, you begin to understand that a lot of what you have gone through, if not everything, the traumas, the struggles, all of the things have to do with the fact that you were sent here on a mission to help awaken a particular group of people by the way you move and descend in proximity to them. And it's the exact same for them, but the opposite. Simply put, you are tasked with being an example of awakening inside these individuals' lives by the way you move. And they are tasked with making sure that you are never able to do this. And this is why. when you begin to go through this process, you start to see that there was some sort of campaign. Some people might call that a conspiracy that was formed against you without your knowledge. You start to wake up to this. It's shocking. It's upsetting. You start to see that there was a kind of plan in place to stop you from waking up to who you truly are and a lot of what you came here to actually accomplish. Dream becomes reality, and nightmares become something that these individuals are trying to keep you bound to. See, the thing is, Cancer, once you begin to go through this process and they know you're capable of this, there's no going back. Things will never be the same again. Distance is the only way. Your path and their path are going in completely different directions. You know, I'm thinking about this comment that I saw under one of the videos the other day. The comment was tone deaf. It was a comment that this person probably left without even listening to the full context of the reading. But they said that life is meant to be lived. We shouldn't just keep walking away from people. And the reading was clearly stating that who the listeners were being guided to leave behind were people that were doing things to deliberately harm them from being able to elevate. Very similar to what I'm picking up here, if not exactly the same. So I just want to say something in regards to these sort of comments, and that the whole purpose of these readings and messages like this is to get you to your ultimate happiness, is to get you onto that timeline where you are living out your dreams, aligned with your highest good as a means to be able to complete your mission, and you are surrounded by people who love and respect you. These readings want you to have more. These readings want you to have it all. They don't want you to settle. And unfortunately, far too many of you have had to settle, and years have passed, and nothing has gotten better. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Wands, Two of Pentacles. Okay, so the Two of Wands here is speaking about this plan that you're making to move forward, okay? See, here's the thing. This actually follows this devil perfectly. This is what you are moving on from because you see it this way, okay? These individuals have given over to this God, right? And as you break away, you just start to feel more in control of your reality. The world is literally in the palm of your hands. And now here are these people looking at you like, oh my God, they're getting away. The devil is not going to be happy about this. And the Two of Pentacles sees this individual in between this karmic loop, right? This cycle, this cyclical cycle. You see what's possible. And you also see where you're coming from. There's just a energy here that is allowing you to see things from a wider perspective, a different vantage point. And it's interesting that I mentioned the comment, right, that I saw underneath one of the videos, because that actual comment is the exact kind of comment that these people would make. Oh, Cancer, come on. You need to be a bit more fun. Life is meant to be lived. It's supposed to disarm you. It's supposed to make you feel like you're overreacting, right? And in reality, that particular comment was probably from the kind of individual that you were all dealing with here. Here's a reading that's speaking about people empowering themselves and moving on from toxic situations. And then the toxic situations watch the video and say, oh, you're overreacting, right? You need to look out for these kinds of people. What do we have at the throat, please? Too many cards. Eight of Pentacles, Virgo energy. Okay, so now we are moving out of this stuck, slow, dense energy, and we are starting to see the results of your movement. Now, the Eight of Pentacles is a perfect card to get after everything that we've spoken about so far, because it speaks about you hitting the next level, and you're actually engaging with what you have been trying to manifest this whole time. So a real simple way of putting this energy would be you finally move on. You don't fall for them baiting a reaction out of you. And because of this, you actually get a breakthrough. And I feel for a lot of you, if not all of you, You get the breakthrough for the first time in regards to this particular manifestation. So whatever it is that you are trying to work toward right now, it actually comes to pass. And this is when you look back and you go, wow, it actually worked. It was those people. It was these situations. It had everything to do with me not taking the reins in my life and allowing these people to influence my moves in some capacity. Now, when we see the Four of Pentacles followed by the Devil and then the Eight of Pentacles, this is telling us that there's something of great importance that is connected to this change you're making here, Cancer. Why would there be so much effort from the Devil to keep you from this if it wasn't of some sort of threat to him? You mustn't let Cancer get to this point. If you do, it's not going to be good for you. I just heard, this Eight of Pentacles is you taking one step closer to being fully aligned with your mission. That's what this is all about. See, when you were incarnated into this life cycle, Cancer, you were given a mission without even being fully aware of it. This is something that you are slowly beginning to understand now, just like the rest of us. You may not fully know every single detail of it. You know enough to know that you need to be going in one particular direction. It's one of those times in your life when you can say to yourself, I don't know why I have to do this, but I've got to do it. There's something inside of me calling me. There's something that is calling me from within. And so you honor that inner guidance, your inner compass guides you to this new space, and you get a win. You say, wow, there's something to this. There's something to following that inner compass, that inner calling. And slowly but surely, you continue to honor that inner voice. And as time goes on, you become more and more aligned. And soon after, you start to realize that there's something much greater at play going on in your life. You're being aligned with your mission. And this is what this is all about. So again, when you are met with comments, when you are met with people who try to diminish what it is you are navigating towards on your path, there's no point even engaging with these people because their thinking, their mind is limited from seeing the full capacity of what you have been given access to. This is why it's typically of great importance to keep your moves to yourself so you don't even have to deal with the unsolicited advice or opinions from others. The more you begin to understand what it is we are trying to channel through for you, Cancer, at this time, and you put this into action inside your everyday waking life, the more and more you are going to see elevation unfold in your life. Everything just begins to change. The way you're interfacing with your reality becomes closer and closer to a vision that you couldn't even fully put into words until you are standing in the middle of it. It's in this space that you begin to conclude that the higher power is working in your life. And it's in this space that everything that you have always heard is beginning to come true. And you can't help but look back on all of the obstacles and challenges, the people, whatever it may have been, even yourself, your own limiting beliefs, your own behavioral patterns that you've had to overcome to get to the space. You can't help but look back at all of it and directly connect it in some capacity to this devil energy. Because it's in this space that you start to see anything that tried to get in your way of getting to that very moment as an element of the enemy. What do we have at the third eye, please? That card actually came out. It was standing like that in my deck. So we're going to actually consider it in both polarities. I'm going to put it in reverse for now. 10 of Wands at the third eye. Sag energy. Now, the 10 of Wands is an energy of liberation. It's an energy of letting go. When it's upright, this is speaking about all of these burdens, all of this stress, everything that has been holding you back from getting to this point. But given the fact it came upside down, it's almost as if, like I mentioned, you get to a point on your path and you can't help but see these energies in a particular way. You're like, I can't believe it. I was stuck inside that cycle for so long, I didn't see it the way I saw it now. Yeah, I just heard as well, it's in this space when you feel like your life is a kind of dream. It feels like a movie. It feels biblical. But there's something miraculous that takes place inside this space as well. Even though you feel disconnected and estranged from your past and the characters that may have been in it, you have never felt more connected and more seen and more important within the universe and how you show up than you do now. And nothing is more powerful than that. Because when you truly embrace this greater idea for your life, Cancer, and this higher structure and this plan and design, it becomes easier to actually let go of all which wasn't serving you. Yes, it takes time. It takes healing and patience with yourself. But you start to have no doubt that there's a higher structure, there's a higher order, and that all of this, what we're all living down here, is simply a mission that we're all on. It's like our higher self is in a mothership somewhere, controlling our avatars, which is us, down inside this reality. Loneliness begins to quickly fade. Even if you're alone on your path, you're not lonely. In fact, you begin to enter into a space where you've never felt more supported, which can really speak about how a lot of you are moving on from situations where, though you may have been surrounded by many people, the quality of those connections was so low that you quite often felt more alone the more people that were around you. It's like feeling completely alone and empty in the middle of a massive crowd because that disconnect between you and that crowd is louder than anything else. Those aren't your people. Those are the sheeple. They represent everything that you have transcended on from. What do we have at the crown, please? Perfect. Two of Cups, Cancer energy at the crown. Now, the Two of Cups in a reading like this is going to be speaking about your higher self and you. It's like you're coming home to yourself, to the divine. It's like you've come out of a war and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I feel more alive. I feel more awake than I've ever been, even though I may be completely alone on my path. Maybe some of you have a cat or a dog or something. You just feel seen. You feel aligned. You feel like you've arrived at something because you've put yourself first and you've started to understand that anybody who tried to punish you for doing so did not have your highest interest in mind. And where they once may have been able to gaslight you out of putting yourself first, it simply doesn't work anymore. We began this top row with you setting out on a journey. And now, Two of Cups at the crown, right? So from the root to the crown, the journey to enlightenment, you arrive. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Two of Wands, Aries energy at the foundation of the reading, right underneath that Six of Swords. Now, the Six of Swords is you setting out on this journey. You're moving on. The Two of Wands here is a bit of a sneaky energy, but it's something that is going to show up in the form of that gaslighting or acting like they have your best interest in mind. But at the end of the day, they're trying to inject some sort of fear so you self-sabotage in the 11th hour. The Six of Swords is an energy of travel, movement. The Two of Wands from this deck is an energy of having some sort of issues with travel, okay? So the simplest way I can really deliver the message that we're getting there is somebody is trying to stop your movement forward, like we had already concluded, but are now getting further confirmation surrounding this. And both the Six of Swords and the Two of Wands are right there at the root chakra, the foundation of the reading. The root chakra is going to be directly connected to your stability, just everything you've always known. So there's a huge shift taking place there, and this energy does not like it. And right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Swords again, but these read differently, okay? This is an energy of you moving on, okay? Your rite of passage. The Six of Swords from this deck is an energy of stagnancy. Again, travel issues, not being able to move forward. It's an energy of feeling stuck or holding on to the baggage, right? This energy upright. See, they don't want you to release this. I'm also getting for some of you that this may be one of these situations where people are making you feel bad for not leveling up in a certain area of your life. And then when you begin to, you see a weird reaction from them where you would expect them to be happy for you or something similar. You're met with quite the opposite. You're starting to feel as though they're trying to hold you back, which is very revealing. Because now you see that there's something sinister at play there. It tells me that they're feeding off of you. They're feeding off of your energy, off of your light. They make you feel bad for not accomplishing something, so you begin to accomplish it, and then they try to stop your forward momentum, which reveals to you that they never expected you to get this far, and they were feeding off of your disappointment. It's like somebody saying to you, you'll never accomplish that. You're nothing but a burden. And all of a sudden you start to show promise. You're actually preparing to accomplish that thing. And now they have nothing left to say. And where a congratulations should be in order, you're met with the complete opposite, which can be traumatizing in and of itself because it has a way of cracking your reality. You mean to tell me that you're not happy for me? That it was never about me achieving or accomplishing said thing. It was always about keeping me stuck because you seemingly had something to gain from that. And watch, Cancer, as you begin to move on, what happens to these people's lives? You start to see something. You start to see something collapse. You start to understand that in some ways you were the foundation and you didn't even know it. You were the support beam in their entire life, but hell would have to completely freeze over before they ever let you know that. And it makes perfect sense, Cancer, because you were living a lie. And what I mean by that is when you step into this new timeline, you realize that everything before that very moment was the setup, was the illusion, was the alternate timeline. You were the foundation to the lie that they had been living this entire time and expected you to live in with them. What do we have? The sacral, please. Four of Wands, Aries energy at the sacral. Now, this is further confirming everything we just channeled through because the Four of Wands from this deck is speaking about the transition. Now, for some of you, it could literally be leaving home, moving out of some place, or finally breaking out of this stagnancy and pushing forward. You know, an example of what I'm picking up here again is individuals arguing and one of them saying, I wish you would just move out. And then finally, this person gets it together and they say, okay, yeah, I'm moving out. I got this plan. I've got a new place, all this sort of stuff. And then the person who said, I wish you would just move out is like, wait, what? See, it's all about keeping you perpetually engaged in trauma. See, the wickedness from this group of people or whoever this is to you is nourishing to them, right? It's like you being a whipping girl, whipping boy, being the dartboard for all this person's nastiness feeds something very dark inside of them, Cancer. And when you remove yourself from that position, it can be very revealing. And it's during this process that you start to understand that you doing this was actually the best thing that you could not only do for yourself, but for them, because you're cutting off their supply to you. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands, Leo energy. Now, the Six of Wands is an energy of being taken advantage of. It's an energy of betrayal. What do we have at the solar plexus? Four of Cups, Five of Wands. Okay, Four of Cups, an energy of moving on. Five of Wands, moving on from the obstacles. And then we have Five of Swords. This message is very clear. Multiple confirmations here. The Five of Swords is an energy of terminating unhealthy relationships from your life, being open to the changes that Spirit is guiding you to make at this time, and also leaving the resentment of these situations behind as well, because that is not going to serve where you are moving on to. As we said, and as I always say in my readings, this is a huge part of the elevation process, because the whole point here is to remember that these people are limited within their capacity to be able to fully comprehend the greater mechanics of the universe. They are merely but a child. They don't get it. Now, when you understand what I am presenting to all of you here, it should allow you to be able to let go and just push forward and focus all of your time and energy on the task at hand. This Five of Swords is underneath this Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles here, as we mentioned, speak about the people who are holding back from making any real change in their life, right? The crabs in the barrel mentality. This is very clear with this Five of Swords right underneath it. Terminate any sort of people from your life that hold this energy ruthlessly. I don't care what anybody says to you or any nincompoop inside the comment section. You are the sum of the five closest people to you, and one bad apple will spoil the entire bunch. I recently heard about this study that they did. It was called the bad apple effect. And the whole point of this was to demonstrate how a single negative person can significantly impact a group's performance and morale. This study showed that adding one negative person to a group of five led to a 40% decrease in completing their task and a 25% decrease in the quality of their work. Now, the most profound part of this study was that it only went on, I think, for like 40 or 50 minutes. Okay? Think about a lifetime of this sort of behavior from people in your family, okay, which a lot of you have dealt with. This is why, when you begin to fully recognize this and you take action to remove yourself from these environments, you begin to see massive level ups in your life. It's very loud, it's very noticeable, it's shocking to not only you, but to the other people that maybe you once knew. And it puts a spotlight on where it was you came from. It shows the world that you were not the problem. What do we have at the heart, please? Four of Swords, Libra energy, Simius. Physical and moral imperfection. Now, the Four of Swords from this deck is further confirming what we just said, because this is a very slow-moving energy. It's an energy that's lacking progress, and you can't figure out why until you start to look at your energetic environment. There's something there. So you remove it, and boom, things begin to move forward very, very quickly. I'm also hearing that these are the kinds of people that are burnouts, right? Burnouts and people who have no motivation to do better in their life, 100% do not want to see other people do well in their life because it makes them feel left behind. It makes them feel lonely. It forces them to have to marinate in all of the work that they refuse to do on themselves. And then we have the Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy, knowledge of good and evil. I feel that this is closing out this message here about what you have been enduring in these situations. This has taken us back to the message in regards to you finally leveling up and moving on, and their reaction doesn't align with what you expected from them. Instead of being happy for you and supporting you, you start to realize that their support for you was circumstantial. It was within the limited capacity of what they thought your growth potential actually was. See, when you cross that threshold, right, or cross the bar, so to speak, that they have supposedly set in your life, then we've got a problem. But what you're starting to realize, Cancer, is that these people have set the bar so low. And I feel as time has gone on, it's gotten lower and lower. They just became too comfortable within this false reality, this false kind of matrix that they created surrounding you and them and the enmeshment of your two lives, whatever that means for you. But the Seven of Swords here is you looking at these individuals as having betrayed you in some capacity. You've caught them and you're breaking free. Their reaction was what illuminated the truth. And it's right underneath that devil. So this is when you see that there's something else going on here. You know, the devil is going to show up in many different ways. The devil is a mindset. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. It's a collection of behavioral patterns. It's a way that some people choose to live their life. They may not admit that, but this is what it is. If you can think about the devil as being a very specific frequency, a low, low frequency that people are able to vibrate at when they live their life in a very particular way. People who are consumed by guilt and shame and regret, people who come for other people in this capacity, put them in that frequency, in that devil frequency. That is the simplest way that I can try and convey to you what this energy means. It's not some beast or demon, okay? But rather, it's a manifestation of this energy within the vibrational frequency of the way that individuals choose to live based on their own lack of healing and self-awareness. Ten of Cups, Pisces energy, unbelievable, right there at the throat. You know, I said something, I believe, earlier on the reading about a culmination, and this is what this card represents for me. There's your higher self, right? Here's you right now in the here and now. There's your inner child, okay? Right there, inner child, there's you. And this is the culmination. This is the crossover point. Whenever I get this card in a reading where I'm talking about timelines, this is the card that tells me that we're right on target, okay? The Ten of Cups is one of the most high vibrational cards in the tarot. I would say that it's second behind the Sun. It's an energy of complete happiness, contentment, and alignment. And it's you getting to where the divine is trying to get you to. And look where it's at. Right underneath this Eight of Pentacles. The culmination, the crossover point, boom, puts you right in this energy where you are engaging, let's say, in your purpose, in whatever it is you are being called to do on your path, this manifestation. What do we have at the third eye, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the third eye? Too many cards. What do we have at the third eye, please? What do we have at the third eye? Oh, perfect. Judgment. Pluto, Scorpio energy at the third eye. And now, Cancer, we're seeing the divine. They saw everything. Atonement of errors destroys the power of enemies and humiliates them. So this is the point in the reading where we revisit the messages I was giving at the very beginning about allowing the divine to fight your battles for you. Essentially, getting out of the way, not stepping on the divine's toes, and staying fully focused and engaged on your mission is the only way to move. See, the judgment angel is hidden in darkness, just waiting to strike, but it requires you to follow your higher guidance and not get in the way. In other words, right after the culmination, the divine steps in and does what it does. Judgment begins to unfold in not only their life, but your life as well. You're on opposite sides of judgment, but this is divine law. This is universal law. This is how it has to go down. And like I mentioned, this is the best thing you can do for these energies, because until you understand this, you are enabling their behavior. Without realizing it, you're telling them that it's okay to continue to live like this. Your job here is to become an example of a life well lived. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, we got the Five of Swords here as well. This one's a bit different, though. As we can see, this angel, let's say that's the judgment angel, is now coming through and delivering judgment, right? You get over there. You leave Cancer alone. And they're like, oh my God, Blaze, judgment angel now. What do we have at the crown, please, to close out the reading? Too many cards. Four of Swords, Libra energy at the crown to close out the reading. The God of Trinity. Mission, protects against slander and impious people. And what I was mentioning in regards to these people and their lack of understanding is better stated as them being impious. It's just a very ungodly energy. It's like they don't show any reverence for God and the higher order. And whenever I get this Four of Swords, it's like, there you are, Cancer. You're on this new timeline now, and you're thinking about everything that you've endured, your life, and everything that's led you to this point. And you're sitting on this, or you're laying on this lion, rather. It's outlined in red, which is really just speaking about your courage, your strength, everything you've had to endure to get to this very moment. It's surreal. It really is. And I feel that strongly inside your energy right now. During this process, you just keep pinching yourself like, is this really happening? It's shocking. And as time goes on, Cancer, this will become easier and easier, and you'll begin to understand that there was simply no other way. It was either this life that you're stepping into or this. And when put side by side, it can, well, it's a revelation, isn't it? It's in that space where a lot of the mysteries of life and how you live it are quite clear. You understand the higher order, and you understand that you are very much a part of it. So, Cancer, however this reading resonates for you in your life at this current time, I certainly hope that I was able to provide something useful for you to support you on your path at this current time. All right, Cancer, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you would like to support my channel, there are a few ways that you can go about doing this. Of course, your donations are always greatly appreciated, and I'm grateful for everybody who continues to donate to my channel. You can visit my online store, where I have a whole bunch of things that I have designed myself, and I would like to extend my gratitude to everybody who has already visited and made purchases. Information for personal readings can be found in the description down below. You can also join the membership section of my channel for $2.99 a month, where I upload additional readings that are not available to the public. But lastly, if this reading resonated with you and your path at this current time, please drop me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.